I've got two words, childhood obesity, and it probably is not the first time you are hearing that phrase. Childhood obesity has become a new reality in America. Anywhere you go, you will probably spot a child that is overweight. Childhood obesity has more than tripled over the past 30 years. Quote, childhood obesity is particularly troubling because the extra pounds often start children on the path to health problems that were once confined to just adults, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol, end quote, Mayo Clinic. When I see an overweight child, I don't blame them. The parents are to blame. Children don't know any better and need some type of influence in their lives to get on a healthier path. Being overweight and obese is not the same thing. Quote, overweight is defined as having excess body weight for a particular height from fat, muscle, bone, water, or a combination of these factors. Obesity is defined as having excess body fat. Overweight and obesity are the result of caloric imbalance. Too few calories expended for the amount of calories consumed and are affected by various genetic, behavioral, and environmental factors, end quote, Center for Disease Control. More than 1/3 of adults are obese. The medical costs for people who are obese were $1,429 more than those of normal height. There are many things that can happen to an overweight child. Childhood obesity can have a harmful effect on the body in a variety of ways. Obese children are more likely to have high blood pressure and high cholesterol, which are risk factors for cardiovascular disease, increased risk of impaired glucose tolerance, insulin resistance, and type 2 diabetes, greater risk for bone and joint problems and musculoskeletal discomfort, breathing problems such as sleep apnea and asthma, fatty liver disease, gallstones, and gastroesophageal reflux. Obese children and adolescents have a greater risk of social and psychological problems such as discrimination, stigmatization, depression, and poor self-esteem, which can continue into adulthood. Obese adolescents are more likely to have prediabetes, a condition in which blood glucose levels indicate a high risk for development of diabetes. Children and adolescents who are obese are likely to be obese as adults and are therefore more at risk for adult health problems such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, several types of cancer, and osteoarthritis. One study showed that children who became obese as early as the age of 2 were more likely to be obese as adults. Overweight and obesity are associated with increased risk for many types of cancer, including cancer of the breast, colon, endometrium, esophagus, kidney, pancreas, gallbladder, thyroid, ovary, cervix, and prostate, as well as multiple myeloma and Hodgkin's lymphoma. A healthy lifestyle is the best and only way to prevent obesity, and also the only way to get away from it. Quote, the dietary and physical activity of children and adolescents are influenced by many sectors of society, including families, communities, schools, child care settings, medical care providers, faith-based institutions, government agencies, the media, and the food and beverage industries and entertainment industries. End quote, Center for Disease Control. There are many ways to help. Breastfeeding can prevent obesity. Children spend a majority of their time in school, so the schools need to help with this problem also. Quote, schools play a particularly critical role by establishing a safe and supportive environment with policies and practices that support healthy behaviors. Schools also provide opportunities for students to learn about and practice healthy eating and physical activity behaviors. End quote, Center for Disease Control. There are many things that you can do to help your children and the children of the community also. One thing that a parent can do is sign your kid up for extracurricular activities or sports. You can suggest putting a salad bar in the school cafeteria. Children should have access to free drinking water. Have the school take out snacks that are high in fat, salt, and sugar out of the vending machines and put healthy options in there so that students will actually enjoy it. And yes, those things do exist. As a parent, you can encourage gym class and teach them some physical education at home. It takes about 3,500 calories to lose a pound, and we all know how easy it is to eat those 3,500 calories and also to work it off. Parents should spend time outside with their kids in the yard or at a park. If the parent is being healthy, it could be easier to set that influence upon a child. If a home is stocked with healthy foods, how can a child remain obese? It doesn't mean putting your kids on a diet. It means having them eat healthier foods. Healthy foods aren't always just for losing weight. Healthy foods are for your health and well-being, not just for how much a person or a child weighs. It will take some effort, but only for change. Kids should not be eating fast food always. That to me is pure laziness on the parent's part. How hard is it to make a child a turkey sandwich with a side of veggies or fruit on wheat bread? Why are kids drinking soda? It's bad for your teeth and so high in sugar. As a waitress, when people come in with their kids, I can't help but shake my head. Not really shake it, but in my head I am. When kids that are not older than 12 or 10 and are ordering Cokes, Sprites, and other sodas. When parents let their children order all fried foods when they are clearly overweight. Laying off the pasta and the fried foods and the dessert is not going to harm anyone. Of course, when a child is so used to eating junk food and being allowed to, they are not going to like vegetables. Healthy eating is a habit and it could take some time to acquire the taste for it. That goes for adults and for adolescents. The child does not know any better. Everyone wants to eat. But it is the parent's responsibility to enforce healthy eating habits, regular exercise, and getting off of the technology. Growing up in the 90s, and everyone that grew up in earlier decades, I spent my free time outside, in the neighborhood, playing with kids. We were always outside doing something, but today things are different. Today our kids have more than we could have ever possibly imagined. All of the Apple products, iTouches, iPads, iPods, these recent tablets that have come out, kids' toys that just require them to sit down and be on it, watching too much TV, spending too much time on the computer. These are all things that are bad for adults, so what makes it okay for children? It isn't. Children are always growing and developing. Instilling these bad habits in them, where is that going to bring them? Technology is partially to blame for this overweight epidemic. We all know that as we get older, it gets harder to lose the weight, and we have to be even more careful of what we eat. Imagine yourself being obese as a child. Your life would not be the same. Obese children can't run around and play the same as a child who weighs normally. It is our responsibility as adults to create a healthier lifestyle for our children and the generations to come. All it takes is a little change in our ways.